Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I'm talking about a film that you can stream right now on Netflix. It is a film called May December. This is a film from Todd Haynes, for those who saw the film Carol. It has the same director as that movie. But in this film, you guys, we follow a former actress who kind of disappeared from the public eye. She had this controversy happen within the 90s, kind of disappeared from the public eye, lives in Georgia, basically lives with this guy that all this controversy started with. The man that she's basically currently pursuing romantically was very young at the time the controversy happened, and so she was this big time actress, had to disappear, and kind of nobody kind of saw her again until this moment in time. And so there is a film currently being made about her, and she's played by a character played by Natalie Portman. And so what Natalie Portman's character is able to do as this method actress is live with this former actress for a little bit, kind of see how her mannerisms are, how she behaves, how she kind of talks about this controversial past of hers. And so this will help her basically play the character of this woman in this film project that she herself has coming out soon. And over the course of this movie, from all the questions that Natalie Portman asks her, from all the events and things that she does on her daily life, this is kind of her opportunity to learn how this disappeared actress currently behaves in modern day. And over the course of this movie, this actress who doesn't really act anymore, not the method actress played by Natalie Portman, but the one that disappeared played by Julianne Moore, she basically has to decide if she's going to change for the better because of all the stuff that she has kind of built up inside of her with all the controversy, or if she really is going to change, get herself back out into the world, try to find a newfound respect from the general public, and kind of accept all these problems that she has, and not just be that insane lady that the general public has kind of labeled her as. And all this stuff happens over the course of May, December, in which Natalie Portman gets the opportunity to live with the character and or live with this person and kind of decide how she's going to play this woman in her next film project. But overall, guys, I thought May December was okay. I thought the plot and the trailers and the marketing for this film was all really good, all really intriguing. So I was really kind of eager to watch this movie because of all the stuff that was out there to kind of get people excited for it. And I did see Carol, not a film that I absolutely love, but it's definitely a film that got a lot of things right back when Todd Haynes directed it. So there's a lot of good things about it for those who haven't seen it yet. But so I liked Carol enough where I'm like, okay, maybe this May December thing will work out really well. So I thought it was okay. Let's go over some positives and negatives as to why I felt that way, why I liked certain aspects of the film, but why certain aspects ultimately were kind of disappointing as well. So for my positives of this movie, Natalie Portman's performance is just absolutely spectacular. If she gets nominated for an Oscar, I will not question them at all. She is very good in the movie. She does a great job with kind of copying and deciding what she wants to keep as far as playing Julianne Moore's character for this upcoming film project. She asks the right questions. She does a lot of things that kind of challenges Julianne Moore's character over the course of this movie. Great performance. Absolutely loved it. Definitely a great performance in the movie for sure. Julianne Moore also gives a great performance here. Definitely has this very broken, damaged character that doesn't really like to go out in public, and when she does, it's always kind of this different thing that she does, whether it's like a garden club or going out to dinner somewhere or going out where she's not really anybody's main focus at all, really. I liked how she was kind of this overly protective person that kind of wants to still hide her past a little bit while also giving this actress an opportunity to kind of learn a little bit about her, learn about her mannerisms and the way she behaves and handles stuff in her day-to-day life. Great performance from Julianne Moore. So whether it is Julianne Moore or Natalie Portman or both of them getting nominated for Best Actress or Best Supporting Actress, both of them did great. Definitely a performance piece film, kind of a film that you watch the performances for sure. I also liked all the Georgia settings in this movie. Definitely added kind of to the atmosphere of the film, whether it's Julianne Moore's character kind of escaping from reality with this barbecue that her newfound husband basically is able to host, or whether it's just kind of the stuff that she does in her day-to-day life that Natalie Portman follows her around for. They also have kind of the trees that you might find in the South with like the long dangling branches and stuff. So definitely added to the movie. It definitely added to the atmosphere that the film is trying to create. Definitely loved all of the Georgia settings that they chose to go with in this movie. Another positive with this movie is you get to see kind of how method actors and actresses work. I know Daniel Day-Lewis is kind of known for doing stuff like this. And speaking of this movie too, I know Johnny Depp got to live with Hunter S. Thompson for a little bit back when Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas got made. So things like this have happened before, of actors or actresses getting to live or get to know a real person at some point to better play them in a film. So we do kind of get to see how method actors and actresses observe stuff, kind of how they choose to maintain certain stuff about a person's performance or about their mannerisms, and kind of how they have to make the performance their own as well. So I do like how we get to see kind of how that process works. So I like how the film lets us kind of explore what Natalie Portman's observing, what she is going to kind of ultimately decide to keep for the character when she plays this woman in a movie. So just really great stuff, really interesting stuff. Liked the observation standpoint from this movie for sure. I also like how the film captures kind of the bizarreness of this romantic scenario that Julianne Moore's character once faced. It really is just kind of bizarre that she went after this teenager after already being married and already having kids, and just kind of romantically pursuing him, and now all of a sudden they're living together and they both kind of have to hide from the general public and all this other stuff. I like how the film kind of captures that bizarreness. They also kind of show kind of the tabloids of stuff that her character was facing when she was younger. So I like how the film captures that bizarreness of the real scenario that this woman faced. But for my negatives of this movie, I did feel more time was needed on the psychology of Julianne Moore's character. We kind of get to see kind of the stuff that happened as far as the romantic stuff happened with this teenager. But the things that didn't really work for me is we really didn't get to know kind of the psychology part of it. Like, we really didn't get to see um, what she was like before all this went down, what all this was like when it went down, and what all this was like after it went down from a psychological standpoint. Yeah, we kind of get the impression that it took a lot out of her, that she had to disappear and all this other stuff. But I really never, as a audience member, got to feel the real psychology behind it all. And so I think that's one thing that wears the film down, is we get to learn certain aspects about kind of what she was going through and what she's facing and how she's feeling, but not all of it. So that aspect for me personally was a little frustrating. I also thought this film would have benefited from a more character study approach. I think having a film where um, kind of seeing kind of this character challenge, seeing Natalie Portman's character challenged as well as she has to go in playing this woman in a film. I thought more character study elements would have helped this movie a lot and would have made it an even more interesting experience as a film for sure. I also thought this film just felt more too overly ambiguous. There's just a lot of scenes where I don't really have the answers that I need to come to a conclusion that the film wants me to come to. It's one of those films where it doesn't completely give you all the answers on everything. I think it does suffer a little bit from being almost too overly ambiguous with what it's trying to do. I know the film Carol kind of suffered from that a little bit back when I saw that film as well. But I really do feel like it's cool if you want to have some ambiguity with your movie, but you have to also provide certain answers to your audience in order for them to come to their own conclusions, if that's the route you want to take your film. If you don't want to provide all the answers, you have to be able to give us enough information as to how we're going to ultimately feel by the time the film is over with. And I do feel like this film suffers from that a little bit too. And also, this film overall doesn't really have any notable moments. Like, there's a couple little moments like, okay, that's kind of interesting and everything like that. But usually when you see a really, really good movie, it's like, oh, well, this action scene was great, or this moment with this character was great, or this moment from this part of the movie really shows kind of the character study aspect of the film. After the film was over and done with, I just really didn't have any of that with May December. It just felt like certain things were done right, certain things were not so done right. Not really a particular moment that worked specifically well that's going to make me remember this film 5 or 10 years from now. But that's one thing the film kind of suffers is there's really not a certain notable moment that makes May December. So that's another thing that kind of weighed the film down for me is it just felt like a series of events. Film's over with. You have an opinion on it, and that's that. I also thought this film would have benefited from having more thriller elements. There's certain suggestions over the course of this film that that's kind of what this film wants to be. But as the film kind of progressed, and by the time it was finally over with, just like this film really could have benefited from more thriller elements. So that's another thing that kind of wears the film down for me as well. But overall, I'm going to give May December a 7.5 out of 10. I think there's really admirable qualities of this movie. There's certain things that work in it, specifically about method actors and actresses and how they work. But there's certain things about it, psychology wise, character study wise, being a little too ambiguous for its own good. And I felt more answers felt needed over the course of this film, and I think this film also would have benefited from kind of fitting into the thriller subgenre as well. So 7.5 out of 10 for me. It's okay. Go into this film on Netflix knowing that it's not perfect. Go into this film knowing though that there is some things about it that are pretty interesting too. So it's a 7.5 out of 10 for me. It's okay. Not something absolutely fantastic. Probably won't appear on my top 10 best of the year or anything either. Um, 7.5 out of 10. It's okay. Go into it knowing that there's problems, but if you do, I think you'll enjoy it a little bit more probably than how I felt about it.